party has just returned after a long, arduous trek through the Underdark beneath the dwarven city of Craghammer. You guys did recently receive a rolled-up piece of parchment, a notification from the Council of Taldore saying that you have been requested to the council chambers at some point this afternoon around the midday sun to discuss your return.
Well, shall we take this to the council then?
So you're led over to the council chambers, which, as you enter the main circular room, you can see what currently stands the entirety of the Taldore Council in a kind of a hushed discussion. The council, of course, has at the center, across the table from you, Sovereign Uriel Taldore II himself, the leader of Iman and the current sovereign of all of Taldore, this section of the continent. There is a halfling male in kind of a rangerish garb, wearing what looks like some really fine chain shirt with a thick, dark black cloak. He's shaved bald with tattoos on one side of his face, and he introduces himself.
I do not believe we've met at this time. My name is Seeker Assum Emring. I'm the Master of Secrets here within the council.
This is adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming to this council meeting.
Okay.
I'm waiting until I'm going to catch the Sovereign on his way out.
All right. At which point everyone kind of gathers the rest of their papers, their parchments, they're rolling up scrolls. The Seeker, Assum, steps up to the rest of you once again with a final handshake.
A pleasure to meet you all once again. I've heard so much.
The Sovereign stands up, and as he stands up, the guards come out and they kind of come to his side.
Good Sovereign, if I could have a moment. Did I hear correctly that Lord and Lady Briarwood were in town?
So they came here on a diplomatic mission to open trade.
Oh, that's nice. I would love to. Please keep it quiet. But if I could be notified if they're coming through again, I would very much like to surprise them, if that would be possible.
For the sake of this conversation, I'm going to ask you to roll a deception check.
Okay.
Ooh. Ooh.
Natural 20.
Certainly. Very well. I will notify you should they come through again.
Deeply honored by your thoughts, sir. Thank you.
You guys are escorted out into the main hallway of the palace.
Percy,
I'm fine.
you're sweating.
Okay.
I know. There's a discussion for later. There's more important things.
Let's go home and change clothes.
Oh, we can go to the keep and say hi to everyone.
I need to water the garden. Probably have to.
No,
Would like to
we
make
have
some-
servants that do that.
To the keep!
But they don't do
the
it
keep.
as
To
well
the
as
keep.
I
They
do.
do it
All right.
with the same water.
You guys make your way through from the top district to the southern edge of Iman, to the lower slums, outside of the city along the southern wall, to Grey Skull Keep. The visual is welcoming. It's standing clean, and in the distance you can see a figure kind of walking across the top of the wall, kind of keeping a watch. You hear a voice ring out from across the courtyard of the keep.
You've all returned!
And you see across the way, Lena, your joyful housekeeper, comes rushing out, arms open to greet you all. You can see there's a little bit of dirt on the front of her apron, like she's been cutting the hedges or doing some sort of garden work, and she rushes out and hunkily to you.
Oh.
It's been so kind. It's been far too long. It's so good to see all of you.
Maybe.
Sorry, that reminds me.
Hold on. And she pulls out a little piece of paper. You recognize it. It's used in various arcane messaging. And she kind of pulls out a small quill and dabbles it and starts writing a quick message on it. Closes the lid. It disappears.
What? What's that?
I'm sorry. I was given that just in case you all returned.
Who gave you that? What was that?
Seeker Assum Emring of the council. The ranger. He said as soon as you all returned, I was supposed to let him know. He had very important business with you.
Maybe from the future. Don't do that until we tell you it's okay to do that.
Right.
Can we rest before we go see this ranger?
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right, you guys make your way into the keep. Lena immediately rushes off to the kitchen, begins
Maybe I'll
preparing
come here.
a welcome back meal for all of you. You can smell after the next 10-15 minutes pass by, that scent of freshly cooked meats and baking bread begins to fill the air around Grey Skull Keep. The halls are kept nice and warm. It's very clean and is a very welcome sight to be back home.
I'm raising my flask and I say to Pike,
To Pike.
Pike.
To Pike.
the best in all of us.
She really was. And is.
And
A little ways into the meal, you can see Cordell steps into the room and kind of glances in for a second.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have a visitor.
Is it a counselor from Taldore?
It is, the halfling.
Seeker Asim Emmering arrives into the door, and as he walks in, he kind of gives a swift bow and says to everyone, "Greetings, I'm sorry to interrupt your meal. I was notified that you have arrived, and, business I would like to discuss if you have a moment. Now, while you were gone, a venture has been put into motion. In celebration of the agreed-upon construction of a grand bridge across the shearing channel to the eastern continent of Wynandir, a dinner is being held here within a week. This venture is helmed by one Lord and Lady Briarwood of Whitestone, as the bridge would be set at the edge of the Alabaster Sierras. They are probably en route as we speak. Now, the bridge shall open trade routes with the Kingdom of Wildmount across the way. Now, I'm here because few things escape my eye. Percival, when last we were company, you had shifted so very uncomfortably at the mention of these two. I ask why.
Had I? I hadn't noticed.
I did.
Very noticeable. I'm sorry.
I've had dealings with them before. I find them untrustworthy.
I have my reservations as well.
You should.
My network has been watching their acquisition of Whitestone since the Dorolo family fell with disease, and there are far more questions than answers. I've sent operatives to inquire, but each has sent me a letter of resignation, instead of choosing to stay within Whitestone under my employ. Now, our sovereign requested that I extend an invitation to this coming dinner, per your request to him, Percy, to you, Vox Machina. I'm here to ask if you will attend, and if so, if I can trust you to keep an eye while I do my work.
Yes, we will attend.
Very good. I will contact you in the next few days, and we shall discuss further. Until then, enjoy the rest of your meal. And thank you.
Phil, excuse me, I have a
Like
bit of work
7
to do
days in a week?
downstairs.
In the
I'm down in
workshop.
my basement.
Can I go find Percy?
You can.
Actually, we should all go find Percy.
So you make your way towards the Alabaster Lyceum. The rest of you head down into Percy's workshop. So you head around the outskirts of the inner portion of the keep itself, down the stairway that leads to the basement floor. The basement floor, which contains a small cell, like a holding cell that you had constructed for you in case you had somebody you take prisoner at some point. To the right, to the left of you, there's a small turning hallway that leads into the workshop. And the work guys come down there. The heat's already blasting from it. You can see Percy is madly into just diving into work of some kind.
What are you doing?
I'm a bit busy. I am making more ammo. I'm working on a few projects that have been rolling around in my head for quite some time now. Don't forget the bolt. The bolt
Quite.
is on the list, yes.
Quite the worker.
I've got a lot to do.
Yes. So, darling,
How many of you are down here,
I
right?
think
All of
we're
us
all
work
here.
together.
Everyone except Tibbs.
I'm moving through his stuff.
I let Trinket forage around the courtyard, so he's not down here at the moment.
I think we need a little history lesson on
Frog,
these.
don't touch that.
Why not?
Burn.
But it moves.
We kind of were talking about it, not that we were talking about you or anything behind your back or anything, but, you know, we never really found out why you were in that prison cell.
We've never questioned it before. We never wanted to make you uncomfortable, but we're about to walk into a party, and I feel like we need a bit of a history lesson.
I know you're right.
Should we guess? Was it public nudity?
A bit. I've never had to say this out loud before. I've never actually had this discussion with anyone.
It's okay. It gets better.
The Briarwoods, Lord and Lady Briarwood, are responsible for the death of my entire family.
Oh.
Whitestone was my home. many years ago. I don't want to get into the details. I came from a big family. I came from a proud family. One night, they were invited in to our home, and over the course of that night, they slaughtered everybody. They are evil. They are corrupting. I was lost for quite a while after that happened. I had nothing else in my life other than my family. I was never really going to inherit anything. I wasn't going to run anything. I was idle. And at some point I made the decision that I was, if nothing else, I survived to maybe extract some vengeance, maybe set something right, maybe stop whatever it was they were doing, I don't know. There was one of their party, Dr. Ripley. She was in charge of something during the murder, I don't know what. I chased her down. It took a year, and I had my gun. And I discovered where she was and where she was working on some ruins. And I approached her, and I never even saw her face. Her guards captured me, beat me up. Didn't even bother taking my things, they just threw me in that dungeon. I never even got close enough to see her face.
You know her name, but you've never seen her before.
I saw her when she was interrogating me in my home.
So you could recognize her?
Oh, yes.
How did you get away when with the rest of your family?
My sister Cassandra, my younger sister, I see somehow evaded capture. I don't know. She set me free. I don't know what became of her. I don't know what became of any of my siblings. When I got thrown into that dungeon, I came to a realization that maybe I wasn't doing this the right way. I wasn't being responsible, and I prayed to whatever it is I pray to, that maybe I would have a sign of what I should be doing. And then there you were. I've been trusting that Vox Machina will take me where I need to go. And maybe what I need to do is confront this, but I don't know what this is. And I'm terrified.
Do you want them dead?
I think so.
Should we interrogate them first? Find out more about your family?
Or just skip ahead to the dead?
I put down my gun and I turn the barrel. And on the barrel is, of the 6 barrels, 5 of them have names.
Ooh, shit.
And Lord and Lady Briarwood are 2 of those names. Dr. Ripley is another.
What are the other ones?
Sir Stonefell is the other, and Professor Anders is the other, and then there's one blank one.
Sir Carrion Stonefell, who's he?
He was the captain of their guards.
And Professor Anders, who's that?
Professor Anders was my teacher. He was my tutor. And he was in collusion with them, and he's the one who, I believe,
Allowed them in?
allowed them to take the castle in the night.
Well, this is certainly tragic. But looking forward, what do we know of this meeting, event, party? What are we doing?
Well, I think we need to do some
Recon?
spying.
Well, do they know Percy's among us?
That's the thing. I don't know if they do.
You don't have to get involved in this.
Oh,
if you
we
don't
are.
want.
We are one.
Yeah, we do. You said you want them dead.
We've got your back, darling.
First of all, you don't really have a choice in the matter. My sister and I know a little piece of your pain. I'm not going to get into it, but there's nothing she and I can do. We can find reparations for you. We will.
Percy,
Thank you.
Is this what you want?
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
And if we kill them, how much will you pay us? Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. We ask other people that, but not me.
You.
If we see them, and we're not ready to show our faces, will you be able to contain yourself?
I think so.
And would they be able to recognize your face?
Yes, that's
Which
need
is
to
why I was
disguise
planning on. I know we have a cap of disguise.
Yes,
I was
we
planning
do.
on.
Do.
Is that?
There's nothing I want more than for you to take bad news and unload it on every one of those motherfucking shits. But if you're me and I'm
Ghost.
nobody, if I'm a ghost,
All right, that's
I
actually.
can help take out one or two.
You'll stick to the shadows, and I'll be you.
You make me invisible.
I
on
can
the way
also
in.
do that.
You make me invisible.
Or he can.
Yeah, one of you two.
No problem. And we should have some sort of a, I know it's a few days off, but we should have some sort of safe word, some sort of attack word.
Well, also, we're not hired to
Grog,
kill
any
the
suggestions?
Briarwoods.
Jenga.
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 Great.
Jenga.
Jenga it is.
Jenga
Jenga.
it is.
I know
I
that
like that.
place.
We're not hired to kill the Briarwoods, and not to be that member of the group that, you know, has a golden heart and wants to ruin everyone's fun. I don't want to stand in between you and your revenge that you are absolutely owed, Percy. But are you sure this is what you want? Is this going to make you feel better? Just...
I don't know what I want. I want to see them. I want to look at them. I want to see them.
Do you want to talk to them?
No. I want to listen to them. The best I can give you is we just have to see what happens.
First of all, I trust you implicitly. You have earned that trust.
Thank you.
Do you believe them to be evil in the purest sense?
I do.
That's all we need.
That's all we need.
We don't even need that much. If you just said to kill someone, we would probably do it.
Shall we prep for 6 days and get it on?
Yeah,
Let's
get
do
it.
it!
All right, so prep for 6 days over
And
the
I've
next.
been training Trinket though, does that help?
Go ahead.
I've been reading my alchemy books.
All right, dressed up, you all make your way to the Cloudtop District as the sun begins to bring itself to the other side of the horizon. As you approach the outside of the Taldore Palace, there are general guards set up to accept a guest. They're just there and wait as part of their process today. As soon as you arrive and announce yourself as having arrived, is there anything you want to do or prepare before?
Well, are you in disguise yet, Percy?
Yes, I look like that.
Cloak to Vax?
Are we there?
And put my arm through Percy's arm to make it seem like
Massages.
we're twins. So I go in with Percy to make it look like we're the twinsies.
Okay.
I'm going to cast invisibility on Vax.
As you guys finish talking with the front guard that you've arrived, Seeker Asum steps out of the front of the palace and kind of sees you.
Ah, very good. Glad you could make it. Please, enter. I wish to speak with you briefly before the event this evening.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Are you missing anyone?
Oh, yes, Percy wasn't feeling very well. He ended up staying home.
Yeah, the runs.
Unfortunately.
All right. So, if my little birds speak truth, they should be arriving around dusk, so we probably have no more than 20 minutes before they are here themselves. If you're not aware, they should be referred to as Lord and Lady Briarwood. Their name's Lord Silas Briarwood and Lady Delilah Briarwood. This is a political dinner. Please do your best not to cause a scene during the meal, as I need that time as a distraction to do my own digging.
Yes.
Of course.
Vax,
Yes.
you're light of step and quick to fade. Would you wish to join me on this, or stay with the dinner party?
I'll stay with the dinner party. I wish to observe.
He also has a bit of a cold, so...
I wish to observe Briarwoods myself.
Also, why are you
Take a
interested?
deception check.
About this.
5. Asum goes.
All right. If we are to do this, I would appreciate a little bit of honesty at the front point.
He's got it.
Awesome is me.
I gathered as much as soon as you began to speak. Now, Vax, if you can hear me, follow me when the meal begins. I may have use for you.
At which point you hear muffled in the distance a this horn sound that seems to be blown as a notification that the arrival of guests is rolled in.
Are you ready for this, Back?
No. No. Let's do this.
Would you?
Yes.
All right. You guys head back out to the front of the palace, the large stairway that leads down into the central road outside of the palace in the middle of the Cloudtop district. The sky itself has now come to a dark purple blue, slowly moving over into the distant sunset. The sun has disappeared beneath the sea, and you've completed dusk as the sunset slowly turns cold. A dark wood carriage, flanked by 4 armored men on horseback, pulls onto the road right before the Tal'Dorei Palace. A young man steps from the front of the carriage and opens the door. Stepping out, you see a strong, tall man in the nearby lantern light. Short brown hair frame a very chiseled and handsome face, adorned with a well-groomed goatee. His clothing is based in blue and black, fitted elegance trimmed with golds and red, a strip of gray fur cresting over one shoulder and framing his torso. He turns and extends his hand towards the door, where a feminine gloved hand finds it. A beautiful woman steps out after him. Her hair dark auburn and pulled up into a tight braided bun, resembling some sort of a glamorous schoolteacher almost. Her gown is in the same color scheme as the man, if a bit heavier blue than black, and a long billowing skirt tapers up to be form-fitted across her body, continuing upward to wrap her neck nearly to the jaw. They both turn to face the greeting party, bowing slightly as 2 of their companion guards flank the reproach up the steps. The other 2, helping the young man who steered the carriage, carry the rather large bags behind them. This is Lord Silas Briarwood and Lady Delilah Briarwood. You make your way into the Grey Hall, which is, it seats a vast number of people. There are 5 major tables meant for like large feasts, but there is one central square table on the far end that is by this giant hearth. This fireplace is probably a good 6 feet high and about 12 feet wide. It's a grandiose visual on the far end of this hall, and there's a long table right there set for about 20 people. At which point, all the different members of the council have their seats around it. You guys find your seats.
Can we?
Orderly Briarwood now enter, arm in arm, slowly walking from the far end of the great hall. They make their way to one end of the table. They both wordlessly sit down, smiling, and acknowledge everyone at the table. The sovereign and his wife enter from the same entrance point. Everyone stands up from their chair, waits for them to get to the edge of the table, at which point they kind of nod their head. Everyone gives a low bow. Immediately, conversation builds in about Uriel talking across to the Briarwoods, talking about the bridge. She says, "Now, the Uriel Bridge, I don't think the name was necessary, but it's appreciated from my perspective. Now, is this union between Wildmount and Tal'Dorei, do we have a confirmed trade route between the two?" At which Lord Briarwood returns, "This is indeed very true. We are hoping that through this passageway we'd have means of a rather quick trade between this kingdom."
I'd love to make an insight check on them just as they talk, just for funsies. Never mind. Low. Very low.
It's hard to tell from this distance, really, at all.
That's what I thought.
They're very charming. You were expecting this very dour, dark, evil couple from all the conversation, but they seem nice. They seem earnest. They keep to themselves, definitely. They're definitely a very tight couple, but nothing about them catches you off guard as being anything instinctively twisted.
Could I inquire to Lady Briarwood?
You're saying this out. The conversation comes to you. Yes, of course. I'm so sorry. What was your name again?
Vexalia.
Vexalia.
Yes.
Absolute pleasure to meet you.
You as well. I noticed your dress is quite lovely.
Thank you.
It doesn't look like a fashion that I'm used to seeing. Where do you hail from originally?
We hail from Wildmount. It's quite a ways from here. The continent to the Far East.
Really, I'm not familiar.
You should come by sometime. We haven't been home in a number of years, having to tend to Whitestone. But we have quite an elaborate homestead there. We would love to have you come stay with us if you ever find yourself that side of the world.
I would love to visit.
That would be a
How
pleasure.
long have you been at Whitestone?
We've been at Whitestone for the better part of, I can't even remember.
And Lord Briarwood looks at his, best I can recall, 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5
It's an
years.
unfortunate mantle to pick up, but we've done what we can in honor of the past
Dorado family.
Lord Briarwood. Okay. I'm not familiar with Whitestone. How did you become caretaker of such a place?
Right, and he kind of pats the hand of his wife. Before all this occurred, we became very close friends with the Dorado family about 10 or so years ago. You know, they were in the process of discussing the building of the Ariel Bridge about 5 years ago, and we were going to meet with them about pursuing this venture as a joint. Well, when disease took them and the family passed on, we were surprised that they would have considered leaving Whitestone in our name, and we couldn't say no at this point. They carry on their legacy, I felt, was important enough, let alone in memory of that to carry on the building of this Uriel Bridge. I felt I really wanted to spearhead the wishes of Frederick.
You're so courageous. Do you want me to fireball them now? A toast, then.
Yes.
A toast.
To gracious hosts.
To gracious hosts.
I don't know what to do now.
The meal has been now wound down, the dishes are being gathered by the servants, the wine has stopped being poured, and now everyone kind of settles in those sighs of a meal well spent.
I'm so full.
Some of the council members begin to excuse themselves. The Uriel stands up and says, "My apologies, me and my wife find that rest is in our imminent future. Please feel free to walk the halls as you see fit. Thank you again, Lord and Lady Briarwood, for joining us, and we're excited to continue this venture with you. Good night to you all." And Uriel says,
Should hunters mark them or something?
Wait, that's Uriel that's leaving.
Oh,
right?
they can feel that, right?
Yeah.
It's like a thing.
What's the gentleman who realized that I was there earlier before we came?
Asun?
Was he talking about you?
he's not in the room.
No, he's gone.
He's been waiting in the foyer for you.
Foyer.
He was telling you to meet him in the foyer a long time ago.
That's all right.
Lord and Lady Briarwood also stand up and apologize. And that note as well, I think our meal has come to an end. We appreciate your and Lady Briarwood kind of continues the sentence. And we wish you all a fine night. And they both stand up and they make their way out through the main Great Hall exit.
I'm following.
Okay. You kind of gather across the ceiling as you go. You watch them head up the stairway to the second floor. They head to the right, down a long hallway, a series of doors. They come up to a door where there are two guards standing outside, the same guards that led them inside the building and were riding on horseback.
Could I hunter's mark him before they go in their bedroom?
Okay, you mark Delilah as she walks off. You have a sense of where she is at all times in the vicinity. As you follow them, they go to the door. The guards open the door for them and lead them into their room and then close the door.
Oh, that fast, all right.
We gotta find Seeker Assam or whatever his name
I
is.
yank off my serpent belt and throw it as far as I can. Not as far as I can, like 20 feet, and set it in motion. So there's now a snake in the hole 20 feet in front of these guys.
All right. You take the belt, fling it. The snake appears on the side. One of the guards looks over. So the other guard, he pulls out his weapon, and one of the guards steps over to where the serpent is, and it starts like trying to stomp it out, and it kind of like snips up and gets some of the armor, and he's just stomping out the.
So one's 20 feet away now.
About 25 feet away, yeah.
25 feet away, and one guy stayed.
Yeah.
Kill him.
I drop, and I'm going to bean him on the head like his name is Kynan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As you leap off the top, you land on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll an attack.
Beaner damage.
You whack right to the side of the helmet with the dull sound. It just falls like a sack of potatoes right against the wall.
Hand on the door. Is it locked? Is it locked? Is it locked?
The door is currently not locked.
Mm-hmm.
You can see one of the guard had the guard you just knocked out had the key in his hand.
Yeah.
And was in the process of going to lock the door right when that happened.
Okay, so I just flip my hood over my head, and I just quietly go in the door.
Oh, wait, you're not
Okay.
invisible.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, shit.
You are so invisible.
You open the door
Attack.
and enter the room, closing it behind you. As soon as you enter the room, it's a large guest room.
Yeah.
In the center of the room, you see on top of the rug, kind of against the wall between the two windows, is a large canopy bed. Very beautifully carved from dark wood. Has almost like a purple cloth and silk canopy that drifts down around it. And on the far end, you can see now against one of the tables is Lady Briarwood is currently taking jewelry off of one of her arms, while Lord Briarwood is right by the bed, holding on kind of the post, like he's kind of just walked over that area.
They're both at the bed?
They're both at the bed,
All right.
and they're both looking in your direction.
I got a 25 for stealth?
Yep.
Yeah, didn't work.
Both looking in your direction.
All right. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I heard a noise in here. I work for the city. I apologize. That was really stupid. As you were.
Make
walk
a
in.
deception check.
Sure.
Lord Briarwood goes, "Oh, well, that's all right. Not to worry, in no serious rush. Isn't that right, my dear?" And she kind of looks over, she stops taking her jewelry off and turns.
Yes, of course. As you, a man who works for the city.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do for the city, if I may ask?
Oh, I'm a guard. I mean, there's not really a name for what I do. I work for Uriel. I'm security, man. And I thought I heard noise in here. And I heard a body fall, sounded like a body
They
fell.
both kind of step a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Kind of looking at you.
I'm backing up as I'm talking. I'm right at the door.
You're back up to the door right there, and
I didn't shut it behind me. I just kind of cracked it open.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
Lady Briarwood goes,
Yep.
You look strangely similar to a gentleman we just had dinner with.
That's crazy.
It's uncanny how similar you look.
Yeah. And I run. I ran.
you get to make a wisdom save, is what you
It's not good. It says it's an 8.
You turn to move, and your muscles tense up as you're unable
Oh, they're holding
to
you.
physically move.
This is awkward, ma'am. I'm just trying to do my job.
You're halfway through the doorway, stuck in place, as she keeps walking forward now. You have a curious look. Lord Briarwood kind of comes and flanks you from the other side.
You try and flee. I'm merely asking you questions. Come, let us discuss in more private quarters.
And you feel the hand of Lord Briarwood slam on your other shoulder.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You look delicious.
And he pulls you into the room as she closes the door behind. And that's where we're going to end.
Why? Why do you do these things?
We had a